Good night, everyone. This is Evangeline Byers, train operator, presidential candidate for president of TW Local 100. I'm coming to you all tonight to do a special, bring you a special update on myself and Angelita Barkis, who is the station agent who was advocating for her safety and was taken out of service and has now been put up with dismissal. President Davis, who is the appointed president of TW Local 100, came to meet Miss Barkis at 2 Broadway, and what was supposed to be taking place was a discussion about what they would be doing to help her get back to work. Instead, the conversation went left, and all the appointed president wanted to talk about was himself, his who he is and how important he is. And basically, after they had their conversation, the next thing that occurred after that was management came in uh, about an hour later and took Ms. Barkis' pass from her. She's been out of service now for over a month. There's been other things that have happened, PDS challenge and other things that have happened that did not go in her favor due to the union railroading her. Um, I want you to just hear what's been going on, and we want you to hear the video. We want you to hear the audio of what President Davis did. And this is important because what we find often around election time is that the union reps and those in power begin to use their power and position to try to get rid of those who are their political opponents. Or even if they're not running, if you support a candidate or someone else, they will try to get rid of you. And so this is also what is happening, and this is also the case of what is happening with what has happened with Ms. Barkis. So I just want us to get in, Angelita, to talk to you and for you to begin to talk about what happened that day at 2 Broadway.
Okay, thanks, Evangeline, for giving me this chance to actually tell my side of the story.
Mhm.
On May 20th, this year, of course, that was exactly 5 months after I was pulled out of service. After Robert Kelly gave me the word that he's going to fight for his members, they're not going to fire you, blah, blah, blah. He kept telling me that they're doing an investigation. And I'm like, 5 months of investigation? That's a little bit too long. You have the video. So pretty much his language changed. And he was saying things like, I could rush them and then they could take you off a payroll. He just switched up on me like a 360 change. Now, on the 20th of May, which is exactly 5 months after I've been, taken out of service, I was still being paid. I sat at 2 Broadway every day, 8 to 4, doing absolutely nothing. And they came and told me they wanted to talk to me. Pretty much the whole purpose of the conversation was to get me to be quiet. Everything that he said to me was, we need you not to go on Facebook, not to make any more rants about the transit. And I said, wait a minute, transit also spies in our private groups. As station agents, we do talk in our private space. So why would you guys kind of agree with muzzling me? I say, if I'm on my public page, I could agree to that, but you can't tell me I can't speak in my private groups. And
Right.
Robert Kelly said to me, it looks like Ms. Bacchus did not learn her lesson. So in my opinion, for these 5 months I've been sitting there, I had to learn my lesson. It was all like them in cahoots with management just to punish me. I could have quit, but I held on because I realized I'm not going to give up my 10 years that easily. But the part that really hit me is when Mr. Davis went upstairs and came back. He said, I can't fight for your job. I can't fight for your job if you're not going to agree not to have any more rants. He said, you're following people like Trammell, you're following people like Evangeline, and what they're misguiding you, and he went through a whole lot of stuff, just beating you down and Trammell. And then he said, like, why don't Evangeline fight for your job then, since you believe in her? Because I said, she's not in your shoes. She does, you got my dues, you get paid. And pretty much that's how the conversation ended. He didn't want to help me because I'm with you.
Right. So I want us now, this is a perfect point in time for you to hear exactly what he said. The video, we're going to play it. We're not going to play the full 30 minutes, but we're going to give you a segment of the video, and at a later date, we'll put out the rest of the audio so that you can hear Mr. Davis's inappropriate conversation in its entirety and how anti-union uh, his position is. Okay, myself as a candidate and someone that's running, there are people who come to me and ask me to help them with things, and I know clearly that they don't support me. But because we are brothers and sisters in the union, and you know, it doesn't hurt to help someone or to give them information or to help them along, right? Maybe if Mr. Davis would have helped you, maybe if he would have shown another side of himself other than what you have already seen demonstrated and that he just confirmed by his behavior, maybe you would have turned and said, you know what, I support you for president. You're doing a great job. Thank you for what you're doing for me and everything else. But instead, he chose to make it about himself, his issues, and who he is. So I just want you to hear how selfish and low down uh, the appointed president is.
I have a family, right?
Yeah.
When you guys are saying things, do you think about my family?
No.
Why?
When they're beating us up, do they think about our family?
That's my point to you.
Sorry, I want to start from the beginning.
Two words out of my mouth. Right? Because people in business read people quickly.
Yeah, she's a businesswoman.
Okay.
She has 2 businesses.
All right, so I'll read her, she'll read it in 30 seconds.
Ay, ay, ay.
Hmm? What's wrong
So
with
stay
you?
out of social media. And is that permanently? Because
I said stay off of the rant and tyrant on social media.
so
Demetrius, he has a family, right?
yeah,
I have a family, right?
yeah.
When you guys are saying things, do you think about my family?
No.
Why?
When they're beating us up, do they think about our family?
That's my point to you. That is my point to you.
When we getting assaulted and
So,
spit
so
at,
am I spitting at you?
you're not doing it.
Am I
I'm
fighting?
not-
Am I fighting for you?
We see a
Am
different
I fighting?
picture.
What picture you see?
We
You don't
think
get-
you're not fighting for
Okay.
us, so that's why we want to
No,
express
because,
that.
because you're following somebody's narrative on social media.
No, I'm looking at
No,
the
you're
facts.
not. You're not, because you don't know half the stuff that Kelly told you this morning. The stuff that Kelly told you this morning about securing this job, you're not looking at. You're not looking at a global picture. You're looking at an individual picture.
I'm looking at, let me tell you what I'm looking at, Mr. Richard
Mhm.
Davis. I'm looking at me being a woman,
Mhm.
and I'm open and susceptible to the advantage that, we're facing every day, and I feel like we're not protected. I feel like, I could give you stories. Wait.
Who went ask more police out there?
Wait, I could give you stories of me being afraid to go to the bathroom that I could actually see because someone just showed me their private parts. Where's the cops? They're not there to protect
Can
me.
I ask you a question?
I hit the EBCS, I complain.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
A bus operator driving their own down the thing, or a conductor in a cab without a cop, and get the private part shown.
You know what happened to
What?
the bus?
What happened?
They have more witnesses. Sometimes I'm alone in that
Can I say
station by
something?
myself.
At the end of the line on 125th Street, right? So you could learn my background, because what you say about me is absolutely not true. You're listening to a narrative on social media. There's no way you could tell me, because you wouldn't know nothing about me.
Just want to pause this for a minute. And I want us to understand what it is that we're hearing here. One, you have the appointed president advocating for Demetrius Prishlow, who is in the upper tier, who is now the MTA president, right? Before he was the head of Subways, but you have Richard Davis actively advocating for management and how they should be presented and what light they should be presented in and not even thinking about the member. Okay, Angelita's telling him about unsafe conditions and how bus drivers, at least they have witnesses. Sometimes I'm all alone. And the appointed president, again, wants her to not, I don't care about what it is that you're experiencing. Let me tell you about me. Let me tell you about who I am. Let me tell you about my experiences as a bus driver. Let's not look at the fact that she's advocating again to the president about her safety, about how unsafe it is in her particular location, and why there needs to be police and everything else. But he doesn't care about that. All he cares about is how does he look on social media? How does he look to the in the public? But what about how the members are being treated? What they are susceptible to every day in the performance of their job duties in an unsafe system. He needs to be addressing that, but he doesn't want to talk about that. He wants to talk about himself. Let's listen.
Me if I don't come talk to you one on one. You wouldn't believe that I would come sit here and talk to you in a normal school. You would not believe that. You believe that, oh, he's not fighting for you because that's what Evangeline is saying, that's Tramel's saying. They both full of shit. I have friends of mine who Tramel proposed himself to. I just don't release that stuff. What good does it do him and I for me to release that? Would you like me to release it? Would you like me to bring somebody to talk to you that he made a proposal to? The same thing he is accusing me of, he does it openly with women. So you got to look at somebody's integrity for they say they're not protecting you. Evangeline, when I was a young kid coming to this job, you know I work at a union rep position fighting for the people first before I get the presidency? You have never done that in your life here. She's going to protect you? How?
I think she's fierce.
She's fierce with what? Her mouth?
I mean, that's what transit probably needs.
Transit,
a bull pistol.
You had a bull pistol where you're sitting right now.
Because no one challenged transit.
Hello.
Do you challenge transit? Do you tell them that our station agents need to be protected?
All day, every day.
If you're going to put them outside the booth?
All day, every day. But this is not that kind of party. I go meet with the mayor. You meet more cops. I don't have a budget for that. I'll try to do what I can do.
But isn't it Kathy, not the mayor?
I met with Kathy too. The mayor's the cops. NYPD's him. His budget is what he's going to regulate.
But what about the transit cops that we had?
Did you not hear me on TV? Did you not hear me on TV about the transit cops?
Who's responsible for putting that back in?
Angelita. Did you not see me put an article about him in the newspaper?
Okay, let's stop there again. Let's again take apart what he's doing. Again, focusing on himself. He brings in Tramel Thompson. He brings in me. We have nothing to do with his representation of Angelita at 2 Broadway. Okay? What does Tramel and myself have to do with Richie Davis, who's supposed to be advocating on behalf of a member at 2 Broadway? Right? Not to mention he wants to deflect and talk about his 28 years of being in service. Well, let's look at this. It took him 28 years to not run to be president, not to be able to stand on his own and declare, I'm going to run for president. It had to be handed to him. Someone had to appoint him. Someone had to say, here, you take it, which is not the way it's supposed to be. If you're so qualified and you have done so much for this union, there should be a litany of things right now that we can run off, that we're benefiting from, that came from him and this administration. But what do we have to look at and have to deal with and have to look forward to? The give back of retiree medical. He says, what is Evangeline doing? Evangeline is the one that has retiree medical in court to give back retiree medical. Evangeline is the one who led the rally that got the National Guard put into the subway, who has been meeting with Chief Kemper, the head of the Transit Bureau chief, and to continue to sound the alarm, right? However, our appointed president, again, doesn't want to talk about Angelita's issues. He wants to talk about how long I've been on the job and who I am. Let's continue.
I didn't see that. I saw your video.
Wait a minute. You didn't see me put a social media, a daily news advertisement about Angelita?
Okay, I saw the video,
Okay,
but
so you make the comment about me, I should be upset at you. I should start talking about you. I should start saying shit back to you because you're talking shit to me right now. You said I'm not fighting, and I can show you that I'm
but where's the
fighting.
results, Mr. Davis?
I got the assault bill changed, right? Did they not make a splitting and assault?
Yeah,
Car hasty?
yeah.
Did he not do that? He called me on the highway and said, "Why you want me to lock more people up?" I said, "I don't want you to lock more people. I want you to protect the transit workers." So when you're speaking, you're not in the forum to see. You're just hearing Evangeline.
No,
I,
I'm seeing
no,
too. I'm
what
seeing.
did she accomplish? You're talking crazy. What did Evangeline accomplish?
She's not in the seat to accomplish
She can't
anything as
accomplish
yet.
shit.
You don't know that until she gets a
Absolutely
chance.
not. She went
Give
to
her a chance.
a chance to do what? With your
She gotta
life?
be in your
She
seat.
in my seat.
She's not in your
She couldn't
seat.
even
She
win.
can't
She
do
couldn't
too
even.
much.
I would give it to her. She couldn't even win it if I gave it to her. You think you have 7 departments? You're only one. You think you're the only department? You're the
No,
only
we have
person out
different
there?
departments. I
Okay,
know.
so you do you know what goes
And that's
on?
another thing. Why do different departments have different rules and it's one union?
It's this union don't only control New York City Transit. You know, we have school buses, we have private lines, we have big bus
No, I mean
tours.
right here in MTA.
Okay, here we go. We have
Conductors will have rules.
career and salary doesn't function like buses. So how could they be under the same rules?
Korean. No, that's different. I mean, like station agents and conductors.
Station and conductors, not the same. Conductors don't like you guys.
I know, but they don't.
Huh?
Okay, here we go again. Did you hear the appointed president tell Angelita that that conductors, okay, do not like station agents? Okay, divide and conquer. He tells her that conductors do not like station agents. They don't like you guys, right? So that is the way that he proposes to advance himself by pitting departments against each other. So he tells her that conductors do not like station agents. Okay? And then he goes in further before we get to that part. Again, he's talking about himself and what I've done and the different departments. Do you know that there's different departments and there's different all of this conversation, okay, has nothing to do with what she needs. She needs him to ensure that she's put back to work and not down in the rubber room at 2 Broadway, just sitting there, okay, as Kelly would put it, learning her lesson, okay? For 5 months, she was put there to learn her lesson. So her being at 2 Broadway was not about an investigation. It was to break her, okay? It was to torture her. It was to make her wonder every day, is today going to be the day?
Exactly.
Okay? It was done to break her. And we're going to let you hear that from Kelly. We're going to do his part of this next. Okay? Because what is really disgusting and sickening is that the reason why you have president and executive committee, okay, is that the president is supposed to support the VP and they're supposed to work together to do what is the best interest of each and every member. Okay, it's not supposed to be according to whether you like them or not. Whether you like them or not is relative. Okay, it has nothing to do. With anything. You are a dues paying member, and if you are a dues paying member, you have the right to representation. You have the right to representation. No one should be blocking you from having representation. However, he says he refuses to represent her, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But I'm gonna go back and let you all finish hearing this because this is telling, okay, of what our members are experiencing at 2 Broadway. When I went down to 2 Broadway to deal with my own situation for arbitration, I walk in and everybody starts running to me asking me, can they use my attorney? Because they're not getting representation. They haven't been given evidence. They haven't been, there's no due process being given, right? And this is what's going on at 2 Broadway. But this is what the appointed president is doing. Okay, denying members representation because they don't support him and they don't believe that he's doing enough to protect. She's talking about her department. What is being done to protect station agents? Why were they not ordered back in the booth when it is this rampant when violence in the subways has escalated. But let's finish this.
So when you're speaking, she comes from subways. What she know about buses?
No, Evangeline is a train operator.
Yeah, she comes from subways. What she know about buses? I mean, 6 years at a job, you can't be president of a union. It's not
Why?
possible.
You think the new people can't do it? Mr. Davis.
I'm gonna go. Have a good day.
So what happened to
have a
my
good
job
day.
now?
I'm not gonna tell you that. Wait till Evangeline wins the presidency.
No, what
No,
happened
no,
to my job?
I'm gonna leave you.
You went upstairs, right?
I'm gonna leave you.
No,
Have a good day.
No, but you talking.
No.
You came in here to talk to me, right?
I'm trying.
I thought you came in here to talk about
I
my
do.
job.
When you open your mind and
Why?
you think you want to come back to reality, I'm gonna give you my number. Let your friend send me stuff so I can help her out. That's what I'm gonna help your friend. Just scan my number and scan it, take it. See, I'm open. I'm an open book. But when you tell me that a person with 6 years at a job could run the union hall of 46,000 members, and it took me 28 years to get here.
It's not coming up. Okay, it's coming up.
And it took me 28 years to get here. You know what that tells me? That you're out of your mind.
But what does that tell me now?
That you're out of your mind. Good luck to you.
So what about my
Good luck to
job?
you. You
What
don't
about
really
my
care.
job?
When Evangeline wins,
No, you're here. I need my job now.
Listen very carefully.
What
When
about-
Evangeline wins, she'll come save you.
Listen, I'm paying you union dues. I'm paying you my union dues
Are you getting paid?
now.
Are you getting paid?
What happened to my job,
You
Mr.
got due
Davis?
process?
Mr.
Are you
Davis.
getting due process?
Now, this is disgusting. Okay, one, he has her begging him for her job. He tells her he's not going to help her with her job, and then he says, "Oh, let Evangeline help you once she becomes president. Once she's in the seat, let her help you." Right? I'm not going to help you because you're out of your mind. You know, because she doesn't agree with him. Again, putting himself and his position. She's one person. There's 47,000 members, between 47,000 members. Okay. One person says that they don't really want to, deal with you and they're not supporting you for president. And then you turn around and you say, well, because you don't support me, I'm gonna ensure that you don't get your job. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna help you. I'm leaving. Okay, I'm leaving. And I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna help your friend, but I'm not representing you. Let Evangeline help you once she's there. Now, this is the height of him violating behavior unbecoming of a president, okay, and violating his oath of office of what he swore to do, to protect and serve this membership and to uphold the Constitution and bylaws of this union. And instead of doing that, he plays political posturing, okay, to ensure that he stays in power. And now, after this whole interaction, the next thing that follows that is he leaves and management comes in and completely takes her out off the service and off the clock. And then the constant torture, because that's what they're trying to do to her, torture her, continues. Okay? This is what we're dealing with as a leadership. This is why I have stepped up and decided to run. But I want Angelita to elaborate more on how this whole interaction, how did this make you feel? How are you doing now?
Well, in the video, it was surprising, but I'm the person that even my daughter says I have that nervous little laugh. So he thought I was playing with him, but he had no idea that I was actually documenting what he's doing because I know it was wrong. And being there for 5 months, I observed so many other people go down. It's like two Broadway is almost like the Supreme Court, cases upon cases upon cases. I say I'm going to do what I need to do to protect myself. So I'm glad I actually recorded him because there's so much lies. It's like, if Kelly tell me something at the beginning, I'm hearing different things from the union rep. It's a lot of mess that's going on. So I feel disappointed. I feel like I'm paying you my dues as the union president. and he won't do anything for me. And he's taking my case like a nonchalant, kind of like, don't really care. Like, let Evangeline fight for your job. So what about you? You can't fight for my job. He should, you know? So I feel disappointed. I really do.
Right. So, the more I listen to it, the more disgusting and more disturbing it is to me, right? Because, I talk about this all the time. Management serving up members. And how do I know that this happens is because they often, after they've been rejected by the union, after they've been given wrong information, my phone will ring, or someone will reach out to me, an inbox through Facebook, a text message. Some way, somehow, people will get to me to let me know that this is what I'm doing. This is financially burdensome on her as well, because after they sent Lane to do the PDS challenge, and no matter what Angelita gave her from the contract that was evidence to give to the arbitrator that she was to be put back on the clock, Lane told her that those parts of the contract were no longer there, that they were no longer there, that it wasn't there anymore. Okay, and it's clearly in our contract. It has not been amended. Okay, there's no side letters. And again, she's sent into arbitration. She tries to use the union because now she's out of service. She doesn't have money, right? She can't afford an attorney right now. And this is what the union does to her. So what do we have to do now? Now we have to put our money together. And now I have to assist in paying her legal fees
Thank
because
you.
the union has totally abandoned her and has said, oh, go let Evangeline help you. Okay, when I'm not allowed to go into 2 Broadway and go into the arbitrator and represent her, I'm not allowed to be anywhere in any discussions pertaining to her case. Okay, I have to stay away. If I was to go there, they would not let me in. They would tell me to leave. I can't represent her. I'm not from her bargaining unit. Okay, however, you tasked me with, after the once I become president, which, thank you, Richie Davis, for appointed president, for letting everyone know that I am going to be the next president of this union. But now you tasked me with providing legal representation for her and making sure that things work out and that she's put back on the clock, right? She's not the only person, okay, that is having these issues right now. In MAP STOA, we have bus operators currently waiting for arbitration, not being given lawyers, not being made aware of when their case is going to happen. In RTO, the same thing. Okay, so all throughout our system, this is what we're dealing with on the union side. We're not even talking about what management is doing, but they're just handing us over to management. And it's when we say, or when I say, an injury to one is an injury to all, it's not some type of cliche saying, right? It is a real thing. An injury to one is an injury to all. If it's happening to Angelita, if it's happening to a bus driver, if it's happening to Angelita, who's the station agent, if it's happening over in RTO, if it's happening throughout, we know that there is a problem, that our union is no longer a union. It is broken. Okay. And the members have to understand that nobody's coming to save us. Okay. They have set up a system in such a way that it's almost impossible to break through. So it's going to take all of us to push and to stand with those who stand and fight for you. Okay. I wanted you to hear this, and I'm glad Angelita was okay with you hearing this, to hear the president totally abandon his duties as president, totally abandon his oath of office. This is not a political, a game to politically posture, but this is our livelihoods at stake, right? She is financially struggling. The next time she goes to arbitration, and then think about something. She shows up for arbitration and they don't hear her case, right? So she just paid a lawyer to just appear who couldn't even go forward. And every time the lawyer appears, it's $1,000. Just think about that. Someone who's out of work right now, waiting for their day before the arbitrator. But every time she shows up, she has to be ready to go forward, right? She can't say, well, you know what? They're telling me to be there at 9. Okay, so maybe I'm going to be second, or they're telling me to be there at 11. Maybe they're going to hit. She doesn't know what's going to happen. She has to be available and be ready to go forward right then and there when it happens. Her attorney has to be ready. And what does she have to show? What does she have to show for it? To show up adjourned, just let us sit and linger and torture her some more. Because according to Robert Kelly, this was done to make you learn your lesson. And because you haven't learned your lesson, because you're not bowing to them and you're demanding representation from your vice president and the vice president of the department and the president of the union, this is what they do. So I want you all to listen to this. Okay? Listen to this. we're gonna release it to you all so that you can just hear him. And don't forget this. Okay? Angelita today, you tomorrow. I'm gonna say it again. Angelita today and you tomorrow. As much as we cannot stand and we were disgusted with the leadership and the representation of Yatano and Richie Davis, did they ever go to 2 Broadway and tell a member, I'm not representing you? Do we have anybody saying that? Okay? At least they had enough mind to be shamefaced. No, not Richie Davis. Okay? Because somebody talked about him on Facebook, because there was a video put out about him, or because Tramel or myself or anyone has said something about him, Angelita has to get beat for it because she's experiencing firsthand. She was out there rallying when the conductor got stabbed in the neck. She's been out there participating in rallies and rallying for safe subways. So how do you have someone who's on the front line, who's doing the advocating and speaking up and fighting back and trying to make sure she makes it home to her daughter and her family, that her family gets her back after she finishes work? Now you want to beat her. But Jan Oliva, okay, went and did a multitude of interviews asking for enforcement for the same thing that Angelita told them about, the same thing she spoke to her supervisors about. Now he's saying, oh, it's a crisis in the subway. The fare beaters are out of control. We need enforcement. We need enforcement now. Okay, there's a multitude of videos that I'll upload that too. Now Jen Oliva is saying the same thing that Angelita said. But this is worth her job. Never mind the rules of discipline and progressive discipline and everything else. Never mind that. No, you got to go. But when we had a member assault another member and it make the news and the front page, that wasn't egregious. Okay, the appointed president was the first one to lend his voice to that, but he won't lend his voice to those who are really, really being assaulted and being taken advantage of. So I just want you to understand what is going on here, okay, and what we are up against. Go ahead, Angelita, close us
I
out.
want to add this because it's one thing I brought up to Anthony Atria. He's the station's union rep. And I told him, I said, listen, my father, he just passed in April. And I say, I really need my job because it's not easy to bury a parent. Financially, I had to carry that burden too. I was being open with him, because I felt I could have talked to him. But that didn't even change their mind. They don't really have a humane side. I think they're inhumane. Like I was looking after my dad. He was going through all the medical issues. And that could have been, more stress on me. And now that he's actually dead, my dad is gone, the money is funny. I'm like, I need my job. I need it to make sure I could, function effectively. But I don't think they care. I think they're inhumane.
Mhm. And just to show you uh, a little more about how they're approaching the situation, okay? Once her dad passes, she tells them what it is that she's going through. They don't care about it. They're not going to do anything to help her. They further drag her, okay? I just want you to see the torture that they're putting her through financially, mentally, and emotionally, okay? Imagine if she did not have the support of her other union brothers and sisters advocating and pushing for her. What would actually happen to her if I was not around to say, you know what, Angelita, come on, I'm going to help you get through this? What would happen to her? Because what they're trying to do is make her either quit, lose her mind, all because she spoke up about unsafe conditions that the head of the MTA has now confirmed that fare evasion, fare beaters, and this is just an unsafe system, and that they need rampant enforcement now. They need more police in the subway now. The same things that we've been calling for. Now, the head of the MTA, months later, he couldn't be seen with the protesters or the workers who were advocating and demanding that Hochul do something. He comes out later on and months later, a couple of months later, and now he's calling for the same exact thing. Same thing. We need enforcement at the stations, at the point of entry, where Angelita would be. Now he's saying the same thing. So only thing I can say about this moving forward is that we are stronger together. It's going to take all of us to take back this union and make it once again a fighting union. A union where you have a president that cares and can identify and is touched by what is happening to you and moves into action and is prepared for all of these things that's happening. There's no preparation for what's going on at 2 Broadway. Okay? There's so many things that are happening right now. I don't want to get into it because I don't want this video to go too long, because I want you all to be able to watch it and everything else more and listen and go over what it is. But I just want us to understand, what everybody understand, that we're stronger together. Let's continue to stick together. If you can, I'm gonna do a legal GoFundMe, right? Because I cannot afford all of these legal fees that are coming down the pipe. And in order for us to be able to continue on, to campaign, to make sure we can do what it is, we need the members now to step up and help us to help you. Okay? Angelita today, me tomorrow. Angelita today, you tomorrow. An injury to one is truly an injury to all. And I thank you all for taking your time out to watch. Please share this information. Let people hear what the appointed president is doing. We'll be back again to let you hear what Kelly's doing, right? How Kelly feels about the stations department and what he is doing and how he has totally messed up everything in the stations department and what it is that they're dealing with moving forward. It's time for us to bring in new leadership, and you want someone who is actively doing the work. You want people who are going to fight for you and fight with you, not tell you, "Oh, vote for me. I'll tell you what I'll do when I get there." But they're not doing anything now. They can't even prove or stand with you now. So thank you again for watching, everyone. Share the video. My name is Evangeline Byers, candidate for president of Local 100, and this is Angelita Barkis. Good night, everyone.
Good night.